Hey, what's poppin', y'all?
What is up? This is the AJA Sports Show. Welcome back in, guys. We got a little bit of a late night edition for you, starting at the bright and early 7:45 p.m. mark. What is going on, guys? How we doing, Ace and Jay?
I'm gonna try to stay awake, but I'm ready. You know, I'm built different, so I'm ready for like 17 straight hours of AJ Sports Show. If you guys are down, I'll just stay up till I gotta wake up tomorrow. It's all good. And then I'll pull a double at work because I'm built different, y'all.
He really is.
That reminds me of
knew the work ethic behind the scenes. He really is.
That reminds me of homeboy from Red Zone, where he starts off all the broadcasts with, and now we are live with like 10 hours of commercial-free football.
Is that Feliciano? Feliciano?
Sometimes.
I think Scott Hansen now.
Yeah, he's got the afternoon gig. Oh God, I was about to be mean. Mr. Dumbo ears over there. He's got the afternoon gig.
That would be nice, man.
Come on, dude. I mean, it's so. Whew, man, that's funny. Ace, I was gonna say, whenever we do our intros, you're like the Migos with the ad libs, bro. Happy day. Like you always got the good ass little ad libs.
I gotta contribute. You know,
I was gonna try and say something, but then I was like, wait, I think he's gonna say it. I see him, like I saw him in the back of the studio. I'm like, I think he's gonna say something, so I just kept quiet.
It's Sunday.
I'm just a shark in the water. You see me coming. You chose not to get bit by the shark. You know, because my voice is a little bit more levels of Jay Egregious than you. So you know, I can la 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 la. I've been known to need a honey at sporting events in high school because I would lose my flippin' voice, and you know it was good fun though.
No surprise.
What's up, Elizabeth?
What's poppin', fam?
All right, so another interesting Sunday, I guess, to say the least, huh, fellas?
Interesting. So many upsets this year, dude. It's freaking
a lot
wild.
of upsets, yeah. A lot of games you don't expect. I mean, there was a game in which the Bears, who started Justin Fields, and Jay will talk about this later because of how he played Justin Fields in his cash lineup. The Bears only gained 47 yards of total offense the entire game, and it was the lowest amount of yards allowed by a Cleveland Browns defense since 1957. I cannot believe what happened.
That's what you call 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, 1957. I actually didn't play him in cash. Thank the Lord. Okay. Early on, beginning of the week, we were looking at Justin Fields at the cheap bargain price of $5,200 in cash, but just no need to really go there in cash this week. There was no one really super high price that we needed to get up and get. Most receivers were pretty reasonably priced. We'll move on because DFS, I'll sit here talking all day.
But Matt Nagy is a piece of shit, right? Like he did not
kind of. That's a big narrative. A little bit.
I mean, he's the coach of the football team. He's putting out a rookie quarterback against the Cleveland Browns defense, right?
You started Nick Foles instead of him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yes, yeah, okay.
I mean, he got sacked 9 times. Yep. He had the worst day ever for any rookie that we've seen so far. And I would even venture to say Zach Wilson had a more successful week 2 start, even though he threw 4 picks. Those will happen in the first half. So, let's bring this up again. Yeah, absolutely. I don't forget anything.
Swami for a reason. He remembers everything and predicts everything. We'll find out later. Thanks.
Oh yeah, Thunder Mountain. On the last turn of Thunder Mountain, I like to look over to the right and I say, "I love you, everybody. You're all amazing." I'm like, I shower people with kindness.
So it makes Disney, man. That's what brings everybody together in the Disney fam. But.
So I'm gonna throw a little something fun fact about Thunder Mountain. Last time I went on Thunder Mountain with the wifey, the back seat was empty, so we were about to sit in the back seat because we were put in the seat behind the back seat. So I'm like, whatever, let's just go sit in the back seat, right? So we go to sit in the back seat, and then some cast members like, no, someone's sitting there. I was like, no one's sitting there, but okay, we'll sit in the 15th row. Or 14th row. And then all of a sudden, 3 cast members sit behind us. And these girls had a to get in. They had to do some squeezing to get in. I was like, are you guys gonna like fly out of this thing? It was pretty interesting. They were an interesting group to sit in front of.
3 people in one Thunder Mountain seat. That is very risky.
Well,
I would not do that.
And they were cast members, so
the second you said 3 people, my eyebrows shot up to the top of my visor. Like, excuse me, 3 people.
Even 2 people being in there, it's like you're going side to side the whole time on that thing. 3 people.
Right.
I mean, I guess maybe if you're squished together more, I guess that makes sense. But
or some little kids or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I went on there, if me, you, and Lauren went, we could do it.
it's quite the thunderous ride.
Well, we'd have to put her between us because just in case because the bar would need to go lower for her, so she don't go whoo.
Okay, good lord.
Okay, all right. Too much fun. Let's get to football.
Let's hop into some football.
Hey,
okay,
Andrew, I'm hungry, bro. What's up? What are we serving?
We got some wings on deck, baby. Here's some appetizers. It's called how much can the Chiefs break the Johnny and Andrew's hearts, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's get into a couple of NFL news that are around the league.
This is the football feast from the AJA Sports Show, sponsored by Fantasy Pros. Hit fantasypros.com, something in the link below, and hit our secret password is AJA. Go, Andrew.
All right, so kicking it off, veteran linebacker Jamie Collins, released by the Lions. Initially, Jay, you'll remember, and I'm sure you will too, Ace, made his debut for the Lions back when Matt Patricia was the head coach, and then they decided to bring him back on a 1-year deal. Did not work out this time around. Spent about 3 games. So now a veteran inside linebacker who maybe some teams could use is on the market. I don't know if he has a good market. He just turned 30. So a big name, not really someone who's been productive over the last couple of years. I mean, we'll be quick on this one. Do you guys think he goes anywhere to like anything? It makes it like an interesting move somewhere and helps the team out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think so personally. He plays more outside linebacker than inside linebacker.
They had him listed as inside, and I thought he was. I'll go right back to you, but I thought he was an outside backer, but they had him listed as an inside backer, so I decided to roll with the NFL head. But go ahead.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I know he played. I mean, he played outside linebacker when he was in New England. The 3 teams that I would look out for are obviously the Patriots to bring him back. I'd look at the Dolphins. They already have 7 former Patriots. It just seems like New England Patriots assistant coaches that get head coaches gigs just go and get a bunch of recycled old Patriots veterans. But okay, that's what they do. That's why Matt Patricia, got Jamie Collins apparently. Another interesting team that I would think about here is Baltimore, a team that's been decimated by injuries. They just drafted Owe, but Justin Houston now is questionable coming into the week. He's been day to day with an injury, a lower extremity injury. So I think Jamie Collins can end up on one of those teams, and he's a fine veteran. Obviously, last week the rumor came out he didn't play last week actually because they were looking to seek a trade for him, and then obviously sat this week, which made us more likely to think that they had a trade partner, and then obviously now he's released. So I think he'll have a market. Like I said, he can be looked at by those 3 teams. I think those are the 3 biggest teams right now.
Yeah, his best years were in New England, Cleveland he played for, and now the Detroit Lions. I mean, not great stats. He had 1 fumble recovery in week 1. He's had 1 fumble recovery the last 4 seasons, so he's hit his quota. He can take the rest of the season off.
He has made his paycheck.
Being a Buffalo Bills fan, I would say that maybe the Miami Dolphins would be a good landing spot for him. The Miami Dolphins could use some linebacker depth. I could also see like potentially like the Rams or the Browns kind of loading up a little bit too, because they're the Browns especially, a bunch of free agents and a bunch of trades this year for defense. And then the Rams are close to what they think is a Super Bowl winning lineup. So, I mean, just even more depth on top of more depth. I could see it. I mean, I don't foresee him going to any one of those specifically. We don't got the Adam Schefter hotline. But
I'm sure
we're working on it.
Hearing him soon.
We're working on it.
We are working on building it,
Yeah.
But he is a big name, and I imagine he'll be like a rental for whoever does end up grabbing him. I don't know what his future NFL career is going to look like, but Jamie Collins. We'll move on to the next guy who hit the rumor mill. So whatever you want to chalk it up to, Jonathan Taylor being drafted, and then actually coming into week 3, Jonathan Taylor was only 2nd behind Derrick Henry since week 8 of 2020, in total yards from scrimmage. So with the emergence of Jonathan Taylor, the extension of Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack decided that after his unfortunate Achilles injury, he's going to request a trade from the Colts. Seems like it was mutual interest in this move. Ryan said that we have Twitter and that's the hotline. Thanks, Ryan. And you have AJA Sports. That's your hotline. We at least would hope you think so. But thanks again, Ryan. So Marlon Mack again looks to be on the move. This is another one. The Rams could be a player here. Like you just mentioned, the Rams being a player for the Jamie Collins series. Coming off an Achilles tear, he's still under 30. Hasn't been really productive, obviously, because of the situation that he's been put in. But Marlon Mack is going to be on the move. You guys have any thoughts on this move, or where he might, or what you guys think about this move? Like, obviously, for the Colts, they don't really have a market for him, or like a usage for him right now, because he obviously wasn't dressed for Week 3's game.
Well, I mean, quite the fall of grace for him, dude. He started last year as the lead back, even with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines being there, and
they got
pretty
injured.
well. Right.
I mean, he's had injury riddled seasons like here now. He wasn't a high draft pick for this team. I can tell you his total rushing yards the last 2 years. So he was starting in 2019. Last year he had played one game, 26 yards, and then he got injured, missed the rest of the season. This year he's only played in game 1. He had 16 yards. His peak was as the starter in his second season in 2018 and 2019. He had 908 yards and 1,091 yards on the ground. So, I mean, that's great if he has volume, but I mean, they have Jonathan Taylor. So where's the volume going to come in this relationship? So.
Well, it ain't going to Jonathan Taylor either. Good Lord, Frank Reich. Get it together. My DFS turning lineups absolutely took a halting stop because we decided to not give it to the gentleman who's averaging 8 yards a touch. Good Lord. Hold on. Slow down. Whew. Anyway.
Deep breath here, buddy. Deep breath.
Why is Nyheim Hines is supposed to be your third down back? He's supposed to be your passing back. And Jonathan Taylor is supposed to be your running back. More so, but yeah, he has Nyheim Hines as his goal line back too, so kind of a little weird of Frank Reich, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I just give the ball to Jonathan Taylor more, dude. He's pretty damn good, and good things normally happen when you give the best player on your team the ball. Like literally, he's the best offensive player on that football team. I mean,
they're 0-3. They're 0-3. So
it's okay, dude. I predicted that.
I know. Yeah. You're right. You did talk about that.
Give the ball to him, dude. Rodgers winning his third MVP, second Lombardi.
What up, Tony? Welcome in, Tony.
Very nice to meet you, man.
He doesn't. I might be wearing green today, but I am anti-Rodgers.
Yeah, he's not really anti-Rodgers.
I'm not Mr. Rodgers against Rodgers. I wish I was nicer and more accepting and welcoming, but no. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing an overrated Aaron Rodgers right now, and I'm not afraid to say it. But welcome in, Tony.
No, I really wanted to pick the Green Bay Packers this week solely on the fact of Aaron Rodgers.
So you could mess with me?
Dude. Yeah, he doesn't like Rodgers. Hey, I can see how Green. Okay, so we'll get into this right now a little bit. I was gonna get into this a little later, but now we got our boy Tony in here. Yeah. Okay. So Aaron Rodgers, right? You're dang right, Tony. He's a drama queen. This dude all off season is talking about, no distractions. Yeah, I don't want any of that. Blah blah blah. I'm not trying. And then the season comes, and it was always like, I'm gonna go through Jeopardy. I don't know if I want to play football. I might retire. And then after he wins, obviously he went in dramatic fashion last week. But then all of a sudden it's, how do you not like the romanticism of football? I mean, it's absolutely just love football. Which one is it, Aaron? I mean, he's blaming the media. He's like, the media, the media this, you're twisting my words, blah, blah, blah. You haven't shut up since you got here. I mean, good Lord, the entire time, all you were doing was complaining. Randall Cobb's here. We brought in some offensive line help. We brought in some defensive line help. The cornerback that everyone crapped on, their first round pick, looks like he's an absolute stud. I mean, good Lordy Jesus. It's what a prima donna, huh?
Yep. Wow. I think. Well, okay, so we're 3 years removed, I think, from when McCarthy was the coach, and this team was 7-9 and 6-10. So, I mean, they have won 2 out of 3, and I get it. They had a great win against the San Francisco 49ers here, right? The 49ers did as well as they could have potentially, to win this game, but But man, the Packers beat a Lions team last week, which was like, meh. The Lions were doing very well for the first half. You talked about it on the last show, guys, that I didn't get to participate in, but the Green Bay defense is cheeky. So I mean, okay,
specifically Kevin King.
So who's not cheeky that they have to play against, right? Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, I would even say Allen Robinson, right? Even though his quarterback kind of sucked this week. So I could see Green Bay splitting some games here in their division. Go Vikes.
Yeah, Ryan, the resident Cardinals fan, loves seeing that in the division, huh? Yeah. The only thing I would have made it better, Ryan, is if Tom Brady would have somehow pulled off that win against the Rams. I bet you Ryan would have had a nice little night sleep after that. No, but I mean, okay, the Packers. Asa's not very high on the Packers. That's Asa. I'm very high on the Packers. I have them winning like 13 games. They're going to be very good. Obviously, the Lions aren't a very good team. They just went the ropes with Baltimore, who we think is a pretty good team. And they gave the Niners pretty much all they can handle in week 1. So they're a team that's going to scrap around. But no, I think the Green Bay Packers are pretty good. Their defense definitely has some question marks. Their secondary is rather questionable. They're kind of old on the front seven as well. Andrew, Tony shares your sentiment, baby. Kevin King.
Get him out of here.
But yeah, anyway, we can go on with the news and stuff. But we had our boy Tony in here, had to give him some Green Bay talk right off the bat.
It was spicy too. I mean, I didn't expect him to just be anti-Rodgers right away.
Nice. Yeah, Ryan. Coming up, big week of football this week. Good Lord. Thank God football's back, huh, guys? Whew.
Man, this
this
$20 billion, I know it's not $20 billion, but this $20 billion football stadium. Oh man, we need to check it out. We're close enough.
Yeah.
I hear parking's good there too. It's not you could park right up to the stadium. It's supposedly real nice, which is not something you get in LA. So parking is usually should we park on that downward hill or should we park against the fire hydrant? It's
about $100 to park your car.
It's only taken them about a century and a half to finally figure out how to do parking in Los Angeles. So it's a high time.
They haven't even figured it out.
Not yet. I mean, we're starting to at least be a little. I don't even know. I'm not going to give them any credit. They don't deserve it.
Hey Tony, thanks for joining in. So just to give you a quick little rundown, we usually record Sunday mornings before football, so you could hop on early if you wake up early to watch some football. We usually have a Monday or Tuesday show, sometimes a Monday and Tuesday show. Today happened to be our Tuesday show. But yeah, we try to record 2 to 3 times a week. So
let's go, Ryan. Get in on the picks, baby. Come on down. Send them in. We'll put them up.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to the game, like picks as in.
Like picks. Oh yeah, he did say he was going to the game. I thought you meant like your weekly picks. I mean, by all means, get that too.
Yeah, you need to send some nice 4K shots. If you got the iPhone, you could put it on 4K on the top. Okay, Andrew, drop another nugget of news. Let's move on.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'll go 2 Chiefs items here real quick. We're going to start off with Josh Gordon, return of the Flash. Gordon, that is. Josh Gordon has been reinstated by the NFL and is now making his way to his 4th NFL team. He is going to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. I imagine it's going to be a better minimum deal, especially, being in the middle of the season. I know it's early on in the year, but he gets another shot to come back. He was last with Seattle. Prior to that, he made a little stop in New England back with Tom Brady and obviously had his all-pro season. I have an interesting stat about his all-pro season that I want you guys to
do you?
Maybe react to if you're curious. So he put up 125 receptions for 1,645 yards, and I believe it was 14 touchdowns. And he did that in 14 games. In a full calendar year, Terrell Owens and Randy Moss never had a season with more receptions, more yards, or more touchdowns scored in a full 16-game season than Josh Gordon delivered in his 2013 All-Pro Offensive Player of the Year winning season. So. Obviously, that was 8 years ago. Quite a different time. He still is 30. He did that at age 22. So, Josh Gordon coming back, and hopefully he can help out because obviously Andy Reid needs it. I don't think the offensive woes of the games losing led to Andy Reid being taken to the hospital. It was dehydration, they said. He left the game after speaking to the team in the locker room following the Chargers game. precautionary. It's that they said Brett Beach, Clark Hunt all came out and said that he's going to be fine. He just suffering from some dehydration. They kept him. You picked up Gordon on fantasy. I don't know when he's going to play. He is signed to the practice squad, and how long will he play? Again, don't know just yet. He was just officially signed this morning. Guys, what do you make of these two little news nuggets here?
I'll let Asa go first with his little skepticism there.
I used to play Yahoo Sports fantasy football way back in the day before I also did ESPN. I had Josh Gordon for his fantastic season, and then I'm the doofus that drafted him these next year, and he played 5 games, and then I drafted him the next year because I was like, well, maybe he'll come back at the end of the season. I think if you're talking about like fantasy, he's a waste of a space on your roster, so just move on. There's plenty of other good names out there. Probably find Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabe Davis, any of these Buffalo Bills who might catch a touchdown each week from Josh Allen.
Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders aren't roster, but Gabe Davis is probably on the block there.
Oh, I mean, yeah. If the first 2 guys there aren't, then we're in a little trouble. I'd even consider McColl. Well, McColl is probably getting drafted some of these leagues this year, but if I'd rather have McColl over Josh Gordon on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'd rather be throwing it to a more fit NFL player, like NFL fit player right now. So that's my thoughts. I mean, I think it's good to have depth on your roster. I don't think it's going to be the fairy tale ending that Antonio Brown had last year. He has played some games. He played in 2019 for the Patriots and the Seahawks. So I get that, but I mean, I just don't know. It's hard to remove yourself from the operation that it takes to just be able to become a football player and strive at that level. And I don't think it's as easy to just flip on a switch. So
yeah, Andrew says Flash is the decoy. So I'll answer Tony's question about fantasy first. If it was like, I think it's a fine spot to pick him up. I mean, especially if you're dropping like, a second string tight end or a backup defense or something like that. This is obviously a dart throw, right? I mean, you're definitely not using him if you have like the number 1 waiver wire pick or something. You're not using that on Josh Gordon, but I think it's well worth a shot. What I would say is that Kansas City definitely misses Sammy Watkins. Every team we've played this year and every team we're going to play this year is going to keep running some variation of a 2 high safety, a lot of man coverage and mix up zone coverage underneath, do whatever they can to roll coverage towards Travis Kelce and Tyreek's side. And a big thing that Sammy Watkins was able to do was win his one-on-one matchups on the outside for Patrick Mahomes. And it made it real difficult to consistently keep spinning that safety, whether that be in the box to try to double Trav and rob the middle of the field, or over top to make sure you keep a lid on Tyreek. If your lineup's already stacked, then absolutely. I think this is absolutely worth a shot. I mean, if he ends up coming in and becoming the wide receiver too for the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, you're looking at a guy, even Sammy Watkins was fantasy serviceable the last few years, and that was with him and all those injuries. I just think that, the Chiefs are a smart enough organization to understand that this is not a for sure thing by any means, but they're also smart enough to look at their receiving core and understand that right now, Demarcus Robinson as your wide receiver 2, your wide receiver out there. I mean, your X wide receiver out there is not going to get it done. And they've seen, Mecole has had ups and downs. He's absolutely an explosive player, but there are times where him and Patrick are not on the same page, and Patrick's expecting him to run one thing and Mecole's running something else. We've seen that the chemistry hasn't naturally gelled with them like it has obviously when you have someone as talented as Trav and Tyreek. But I think it was well worth a shot. I would say so. I mean,
it's worth the flyer. It's worth the flyer for sure. So a little history real quick on Josh Gordon, then we can move on to the main course of the football feast. He was taken in the supplemental draft in his year of being drafted 9 years ago. Was that? And you know why he missed? So if there's a supplemental draft, right, where teams can bid on players and they would say, this is where I would take said player. This is what pick I would take said player with. And then if you bid on that player, then you can get that player. Well, the Cleveland Browns said he's a 2nd round pick on him. And they happened to have, I think, the 1st pick that year. So they got him, they won the rights to him that year. But the reason he missed the NFL draft was because of a failed drug test. And he was, it just has kind of been the problem since the start. He's on that. He's has every right to smoke and do what he pleases. But I mean, in the day and age where, football doesn't always meet with the standards of real life. And I get that, but
absolutely.
It's worth a shot.
for NFL players and the NFL Players Association, and obviously we've seen it with the NBA Players Association be very progressive. In the new CBA, the collective bargaining agreement they agreed to prior to the 2021 season, the NFL is no longer suspending players for marijuana use, for marijuana positive tests, as long as you just comply to the testing and obviously comply with whatever rules and regulations they have in place, and not avoiding tests like Lyle Collins did. But yeah, so Josh Gordon, again, like you guys said, no real risk involved here. It's kind of, if it works, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. He stays in the practice squad or he doesn't even play. But last little news thing, and then I think Jay wanted to mention a couple games. Justin Tucker put his leg in the Hall of Fame immediately, because this guy's already the most accurate kicker of all time in NFL history, which is kind of funny because he missed a 49-yard field goal, which 49 yards is not a field goal that most kickers are guaranteed to make. You can walk away and get snacks and see the 3 points on the scoreboard most cases when Justin Tucker's lining up from past 50. 66-yard field goal to win the game. And I know Ace mentioned this before we even hopped on, that they shouldn't even have been able to take that field goal attempt because of a delay of game penalty that wasn't called. By the way, even though regarding all the stuff surrounding the play call before, Lamar Jackson threw an absolute dart to get them to that field goal position. He threw a 33-yard strike to Sammy Watkins that he took another extra 10 yards to get him, even in range for a 66-yard attempt. Earlier in the day, Matt Prater attempted a 68-yard field goal before halftime. Jamal Agnew of the Jaguars returned it for a touchdown. This one doinked off the middle of the upright and flew into the back of the net. It could have gone either way, and it led to the NFL record now, 66-yard field goal, surpassing Matt Prater back in 2013 with his 62-yard field goal.
I'm just happy that we had Gus Johnson have a field day with 2 weeks in a row. Gus Johnson, man, he elevates the game. He's like Avatar. He sees Earth, Wind, Fire, and this guy is like Aang, man. He's got the power of the world behind him, and he just has one hell of a fun call when he gets in his little zone.
He makes it so fun for the audience. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it helps when you get back-to-back Kyler Murray games too. I mean, good Lord. I mean, help the guy out a little bit. But Ace is absolutely right, dude. Like that. I mean, we talked about it last season a little bit. Like, you get a second after the play clock is over. Like, you get the downtime. Like, it's when the clock hits 0, you get 0. So you get a little half a second after that. But even that seemed like it was a little gracious there in that little situation there.
So it looks like we got some football heads in here, right? Better kicker all time: Justin Tucker, Adam Vinatieri.
More accurate or more accomplished?
Who would you rather have, right? I mean, who would you rather have?
If I need one kick, if I need kick to save my life, it's Justin Tucker. But accomplishments, it's Adam Vinatieri, 100%.
I'd probably have to go Vinatieri as well, yeah.
So Tony coming in with the question, and I mean that. So I think SoFi is 1,200 feet over sea level. Denver is 5,200 feet over sea level.
Hey, Tony, guess what? The Ravens play at Denver next week.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Are we gonna weigh history right in front of our eyes?
Tony, did you know the schedule, or did you just is this the?
I think he did. I think he knew the schedule. I think Tony knows his football, and I think he knew the schedule, and we didn't. But yeah, the Ravens play at Mile High next week.
If you're playing beer pong in Denver, Colorado, you have to play against 2 tables because the ping pong ball travels that far.
Absolutely. That's crazy that they play next week, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Thank you for getting me to look that up, Tony, because that's just hilarious. So we're definitely going to pick that game. That's going to be on our Sunday morning slate of game picks.
Yeah. Hey, we could put some money on it. Not here with each other, but dude, there's prop picks all over this place. I would put $20 if that could win me $1 million. I'll do it.
Imagine. Yeah, that's probably a prop bet for it. Jade, go for it. My bad, Ace. Go for it.
Did we talk about the guy that bet $25 to win $700,000+, and then he got offered a couple of buyouts which were $200+ and $300+, and he didn't take the buyout and he lost almost his money? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, because he was trying to. It was the Lions and Packers. He thought the Lions were actually going to pull out a win against the Packers. Why would you take the $200,000 on a $25 bet? What are you doing, man? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, what was the payout if he hit it?
700.
750.
Okay.
But
It's the Lions having to beat the Packers on Monday Night Football.
Whoa. I agree. If it's myself.
I'm not yelling at you. Sorry.
I don't know
I'm
who
projecting
no,
on this
it's
guy.
okay. But if this guy's a sports bettor or something, that's like his whole gig. I mean, like, you know, like if that's like the whole point is for him to hit it big, yeah.
That's why I would pick Vinatieri too. I like Justin Tucker a lot. I'd probably still take Vinatieri. I mean,
Tucker's the most accurate kicker in NFL history, and I think he'll go down as that. But the best kicker,
yeah,
is probably Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, but I don't know how you could be the best and then not the most accurate. Adam Vinatieri is the most accomplished, but the most accurate. If you had one field goal for your life and you don't pick the most accurate kicker in NFL history, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, that's a good way of framing it. True.
I mean, it's like saying, would you rather have a potato versus a potato? I mean, you can't necessarily go wrong either way, but I get what you're saying.
All right, guys. Jay, did you have more games you want to talk about, or you want to get into
just real quick, we didn't talk. We could talk about the Raiders because, you know, they're first in the AFC West right now, a bunch of bums. Took two overtime games, the Dolphins to look like absolute stone ground mustard throughout the second and third quarter, just absolutely the bed in Las Vegas to allow them to come back. So yeah, not happy about that. Definitely. I thought the Dolphins are going to be a good team, man. Like Tua's not there, and I don't think he does a whole lot compared to Brissett. But God, he doesn't turn the ball over. I will ask. I don't know what in the frick we're thinking on. We got second and 10 on their own 2-yard line, and they run a smoke screen to their ex receiver and get a safety. Some stupid stuff sometimes happens in the NFL, man. I really don't know what to tell you. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But good on the Raiders. Won another home game. They're actually one of the first teams in a long time to win to start 3-0 and do it against all the teams that they've played so far had 10 wins or more last year. So yes, Mahomes is the GOAT. It's like Rodgers versus Brady. Rodgers most talented, but Brady the GOAT. It's similar. But I think in kicking, right? Like, I mean, you just play the numbers, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I like statistics and I play DFS, so maybe I just tend to go to the numbers more. But I mean, it's like saying, like, you know, you're gonna bet if you could choose in roulette to bet. I don't know. Never mind. But yeah, anyway, just pick the more accurate guy, in my opinion. I'm just trying to go for my life. I'm gonna pick the guy who makes more often than the other guy.
A plus trolling here, Andrew. A plus trolling. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, you're a Charger fan.
He's a Chargers fan, yeah.
Hey, buddy, come run some victory laps in here, dude. That's a big time done.
Oh man, I'm not gonna recover from that troll for the rest of the show. Anybody else want to take him here? Let's
just move on to the picks.
Totally kidding. Let's move on to the main course. Main course, of course, is going to be our recap of the game picks. We got some nice turkey here. We are talking about a couple birds, specifically the one that lost the Seahawks because we'll get to them right now. That bird. Yeah. We got those picks. Where are they at?
Oh, yeah, sorry. They're on my screen. I just, I stopped sharing so I could share the other one, and then it's all good. We're
There we go. All right. So here's our records as it stands right now going into week 4. Thursday Night Football coming up. We'll make those picks later in the show. Ace at a sprightly 10-6, me just behind at 7-9.
Right.
Johnny's at 6-10. Has been a rough start for A and J here. Ace is holding up his end though and performing pretty well in the game pick so far.
As a unit though, we're still under 500, so we gotta overall get our crap together. But yeah,
listen, dude, you know what I'm saying, like an algorithm, right? You know, I said last week it takes 2 weeks. It takes 3. It takes 3 weeks. Recalibrate, regroup. See what these teams look like. Good Lord, we're gonna talk about it right now. But look at these teams that won. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing?
Okay.
So let's put the first game. Oh yeah, here we go. Andrew, if you're still here, you'll love to see this one.
Embarrassing.
So the Chargers with cojones of big ass cojones went for it on 4th and 9. We were talking about that pre-show. I mean, man, that's the type of like plays though you have to make, right? You have to it's like all or nothing. You want to beat the Chiefs. That's the exact mentality you have to take. So I mean, I get it, and they put it all out there. So it didn't necessarily, it probably should have been a little.
He said, oh, I'm here.
Oh, I'm here. I mean, the end of the game where there were some questionable penalties being thrown around. but right, you chalk it up to what happened in the first half, right? The Chiefs kind of played themselves into a hole. Obviously, they're good enough and nearly great enough to always make these comebacks. It's just that the way that the ball falls sometimes, you don't always make those comebacks. And the Chargers, when you're playing poker and you have a big chip lead, you don't play conservative because you lose all your chips that way. You play even more aggressive, and so that's what the Chargers were doing, right? They played even more aggressive, and they were able to hit a full house on the Chiefs, who just had a 3 of a kind, or you had a flush. You guys should have won this game, but
I mean, we had like I don't even know what the term of the 4 or having basically 4. The 4 turnovers is basically what I'm getting at here. You can't win games in the NFL with 4 turnovers. Three straight possessions to open the game, getting into the red zone and inside opponent's 20-yard line, and 3 straight giveaways, all in the opponent's red zone. Well, actually, 2 giveaways, one takeaway, because technically they punched out Tyreek's. The giveaway was obviously a drop pass, but it's just you can't win football games like that.
Andrew,
in a hole. Yeah.
Andrew, while Andrew's talking, not Andrew, while this Andrew's talking up there, Andrew in the comments, what was your favorite play and part of the game? And then we'll let these guys finish, and we'll pull that comment up.
I mean, I'm guessing his favorite play will be the Mike Williams touchdown to win it, but
hey,
Andrew, Andrew. I'm not answering for him. I'm sorry. I'm not answering for him. Obviously, I don't love the 4th and 9 pass interference call in Kansas City. I'm not going to say that that's the reason they lost the game, or sit here and cry about it. Haven't seen a replay of it yet, but it is what it is. Going forward, in that that's what, like you mentioned, that's what you have to do when you're trying to beat really good football teams and very talented offenses. The Ravens obviously did it against the Chiefs the week prior, so why shouldn't Brandon Staley come out and have the same mindset and attitude about going at it late in the 4th? Mahomes played a little uncharacteristic, a couple bad throws. The no-look pass to Marcus Kemp that got picked off, people were saying he shouldn't have no-looked it. And I know Jay's going to reiterate this, but I'll just say the reason why he was so wide open and the reason why he looked it is because he wasn't looking at him, and the defenders obviously went where the quarterback's eyes went, who was running out, basically outside of the pocket. And that's why he was open. It just happened to be, a little boneheaded mistake on Marcus Kemp, and that's why he's the 6th receiver on the Chiefs, and he couldn't get it done. And it led to the interception. So, he said it was definitely the Mike Williams CD. Supposed to be a run, but Herbert saw that one in the matchup and hit it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Herbert,
audible.
On the fantasy team, guys, unbelievable. Justin Herbert is an absolute stud. The win definitely played a factor. I was going to mention that part of the reason why Mahomes has probably the strongest arm in the league, give or take Josh Allen, whoever you want for that flavor. For him to not get it 50 yards to the end zone just tells you obviously how the win affected the ball being in the air. So, you win some, you lose some, and just got to be better if you're the Chiefs.
So the Chiefs could easily be 1-2, 0-3, or 3-0. Over these first 3 weeks, they've looked very sloppy. Haven't looked like a team that's going to be ready to contend for a Super Bowl as of yet. The rush defense looks as putrid as it has ever looked. Obviously, we're still missing Frank Clark, but who the hell knows what's going on with him, because he's deciding to carry guns around in the middle of the streets of LA. So we'll see how long he's still, playing for us when he's not injured, that is. First of all, I just need to give a ton of praise to the Chargers. The Chargers played absolutely unbelievable. Their defense was flying around. They made a ton of plays defensively. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird feel. Trust me, Tony, we've been Chiefs fans since we were
little kids. 6 years. Sorry.
We've been Chiefs fans since we were little kids, dude. So the bottom of the standings is where we were used to being until just recently when we got Sir Schmatrick and Alex. Because I mean, like I said, we've been absolutely putrid here. But give the Chargers a ton of credit, man. I mean, they came out. Brandon Staley was absolutely committed to allowing everyone except for Patrick Mahomes to beat them. They were running light boxes. Like I told the guys before we started the show, 2 high safeties. I mean, people are running 2 high safeties against the Chiefs at like a 45% clip now. And that's something that's normally a league average about 33 to 35%. They are daring anyone else except for Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes to beat them. I mean, even Clyde looked really good. Chargers almost gave that game up like 5. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It seems like the Chargers are kind of going to Charger. They're going to, as much as you want it to happen, like I mean, like bad kicks. I mean, they've had so many touchdowns called back on penalties.
It's like, so crazy.
It's absolutely wild how much they've done this season already to shoot themselves in the foot. Honestly, the Chiefs okay. So that narrative is out there, right? That the Chargers handed the Chiefs the game at the end, just got away. Yeah. But the Chiefs handed it to the Chargers. You can't have three. I mean, honestly, if you look at this game, it could have been 21-14. Easy. Like lickety split. The Chiefs were moving the ball. The Chiefs had 33 first downs, over 450 yards of total offense. It's not like the Chiefs were struggling to score, to get down there. We struggled to score, right? That Tyreek Hill play was an absolutely phenomenal play. No way. We're giving all the dude, the Chargers, honestly, Justin Herbert's unbelievable. Like that, we were talking about it the other day, Andrew. But because there was rumors about Aaron Rodgers potentially coming to the Broncos. I don't understand how you'd want any part of this division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes in it for the next 12 to 15 years. Justin Herbert
and Derek Carr.
Oh God, Derek Carr, get out of here. But yeah,
he's throwing the ball like 55 times a game.
I'm gonna
most yards for that. Just throwing 55 times a game.
So I'm gonna get into the Chiefs game a little bit more, on the next show we do, because I got a hashtag grind the film. Just got my NFL Game Pass sign in because they were freaking wonky last week. I wasn't able to watch any of the replay footage last week. So hashtag Johnny grinding the tape will be coming up here shortly. So I'll have some more takes on it. But from what it looked like I said, the Chargers did a great job making Clyde Edwards-Helaire beat them. I mean, they were daring the Chiefs to rush the ball, and the Chiefs did, for what it's worth. I mean, Clyde had over 100 yards. And yeah, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes just wasn't able to do enough Patrick Mahomes magic. And that's not how the Chiefs are going to win football games. The defense needs to step up, needs to be better. The Chiefs have had opposing teams against the Kansas City Chiefs have had 13 trips to the red zone. They have scored 13 touchdowns. I mean, part of that is being on the bad side of variance. The other part of that is just your defense isn't very good. There were a few times, and I'm going fast because I know we've been going long on this, but there were a few times too where the Chiefs were caught in substitution mode, and Justin Herbert, like a veteran quarterback, only in his second year, did a fantastic job of quick snapping. One of those touchdowns that Keenan Allen scored was deliberately and only a touchdown because Justin Herbert, number one, made a great check at the line to check into a pass play from their run. Number two, did a great job of understanding circumstances that the Chiefs were trying to substitute personnel and they weren't. And then number three, did a great job of pump faking the first window. Nick Bolton jumps it too early. And one thing you don't want to do as a defender is jump. And then Justin Herbert, while he's down, throws a fantastic pass to Keenan Allen, who's wide open. So, yeah, I think this was a great game. I think this is a rivalry that you're going to see, go back and forth like this. The Chiefs have kind of dominated it here recently, but this dude, Justin Herbert's the real deal. And it looks like they have the right coach in Brandon Staley. What I will say for the Chiefs too, is that's why I kind of like the Josh Gordon signing. Understand your weaknesses, right? When you don't have a number two receiver that can go get his own, right? And demand some type of safety. Like, I mean, you can leave Demarcus Robinson one-on-one, bro. Like, you're fine, right? If you have anyone that remotely makes those safeties stay consistent and not constantly roll to wherever Tyreek Hill or Trav are, and then bracket whichever one you're not rolling the safety to, then, it makes it a lot more difficult. So that's what people are doing, really. They're making the Chiefs methodically drive down the field because they know, like in week one, Kansas City can go one play, 75 yards and a touchdown. By the time you get your hot dog and sit back down, the score is tied. And so, I mean, I just think there's a lot of things that the Chiefs need to improve on. I think the Chargers are a really good up-and-coming team, and we'll see them again here in December.
I will say the Chargers and the Chiefs have the third hardest strength of the schedule this year. The Chargers have the 8th. So that's why when I was looking at the schedule this season and I was making my picks for the Chargers, I kind of thought the Charger way where like they gave up a lot of close games late and having to face a tougher schedule this year. I did have them under 500. I hope I'm wrong because I really like the Chargers. And I've been calling Justin Herbert's like hotline bling ever since last season. Love the kid. I think he'll be the best quarterback to come out of his little bracket here. Like Mac Jones ain't it, Justin Fields, maybe Trey Lance has a shot, don't know, but I think Justin Herbert definitely has a chance to be this like last 5 years, not Josh Allen, because Josh
Are
Allen.
You count out Trevor already? You already counting out Trevor?
I don't know. I think Urban Meyer has to really commit to this franchise, but you have a great quarterback, a good quarterback in a bad franchise, and you're not going to get the trajectory of a career that we expect out of him. Matt Stafford's coming into Los Angeles, and already looks like he's going to win MVP and lead an undefeated season. Obviously, that's not going to happen per se, but you know what I mean. Like you got to have a great coach. You got to have a good owner. The Jags owner's not too bad. You know, he likes the international games, and he seems pretty open to building a good franchise. So maybe Urban Meyer's that. But I don't know. Yeah, I haven't given up on Trevor, though. I just think Justin Herbert will be better than Trevor Lawrence at the end.
No, I was just curious. We can move on. But yeah, Ryan, they're making a ton of money. It'd be printing cash over there, dude.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the floor here. So
do it.
I work 60 hours a week. It's fine. And I didn't make it into the Sunday morning roast this week. I was devastated. I was very sad. I took a shower. I hopped out of the shower and I logged into the stream, and I was in the comment section. But I didn't catch this right away because they were already past this game. However, both these gentlemen above me, these handsome devilish boys, told me it's not too late to change your pick to the Seattle Seahawks. And I like the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win like 13 games this year. Well, that was my prediction to start the season. But yeah, the Vikings won. Go Vikes. I put the little emoji there that you see there because I just wanted to rub it in a little bit more. But it was Kirk Cousins had a pretty good game. The Vikings, the Seahawks keep having really good first halves and then completely shitting themselves in the second half. So I don't know how long they can keep this up. And my thoughts were, Russell Wilson's going to play the rest of the season with this team, and he will. But like, I thought most of the drama was going to be coming to Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. Because if Russell Wilson and these Seahawks keep losing games, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely not the expected outcome here. Obviously, only putting up 17 points hurt me not only in the record predictions, but also in fantasy because Tyler Lockett left with an injury early. Kirk Cousins continues to, I can't really say that he continues to play well, but the numbers will tell you he plays well, even though they didn't finish over 500 last year. Since 2019, he has the most games as a quarterback. I mentioned this the other day with a pass rating over 100. So again, statistically, it'll tell you that Kirk Cousins is playing well. Seattle's just got to do a better job of being able to close out games, and when they're the better team, just basically sear into that skid and assert themselves a little bit more. It wasn't the game that I expected at all, and they were my survivor pick, so I'm even more devastated that I didn't get to. I was the only one who stayed alive the first 2 weeks, and now I'm the first one gone in the new run of this. So now it's like,
we'll make sure you're alive for the because we both died already. So I will say, and then sorry, I'll let Jay talk to you if he wants. Alexander Madison, who backed up Dalvin Cook, right? He faced 8 people in the box, like more than half of the game. And I was reading a stat earlier. That was the third highest rate for any running back this week. Probably like Derrick Henry and maybe Zeke or Saquon are one of the top 2. I don't know. But Madison did really well for this team. Had 100+ yards. I think that was the key to the game because you're missing Dalvin Cook. You had to have something go right. Cousins played well. You just said, right? He had a nice game. Got the ball up quick. Found his receivers, threw some nice touchdown passes. And the Seahawks kind of fell apart.
Yeah, so I think some of the stacked box had to do with them winning so much at the end of the game. They did only scored 9 points in the second half, Minnesota, but they did all their damage in the first half with 3 touchdowns from Kirk to Thielen, Conklin, and to Jefferson. Looking at this game, the Seahawks should be rather embarrassed, to be quite honest with you. This was a banged-up Minnesota Vikings team, missing their first-round pick in Darisaw, missing their best offensive player in Dalvin Cook. Came in and decided to let Kirk Cousins tear him up at his place. Kirk is always going to play better under protection whenever he's not pressured, and especially at home. And it wasn't a primetime game, so Kirk was going to go off. The bright lights scared a little odd. But, I don't think anyone really expected this. Andrew talked about, Russell Wilson's first half of the season starts and then slow second half starts. But holy crap, that is transferring over game by game here. He's got 7 touchdowns and 5 of them are in the first half, and they look absolutely anemic in the second half. I don't know if that's a game planning issue or at halftime, the teams come in and regroup, and that's where the real coaching happens, to be quite honest with you. You know, most of the first 12 to 15 plays of a game, unless you have like an absolute crap start, are going to be scripted. So, you know, you come in, you have those plays ready to go, and you know what's going to work. And then, you know, you make your second half adjustments, and you hope that your coach is able to make better adjustments than the other coach, or know to keep doing the things that you're doing that are successful and hopefully win the ball game. I mean, Mike Zimmer, if he could take this, he would take this type of outcome 9 out of 10 times. He loves it. I mean, get out to a lead, let the defense get after it, and pound the football. And that's pretty much what they did in the second half. The line on this was like 6.5. Like this was not supposed to be a close game at all, which is, you know, obviously that led to some of the reason why I picked the game. But great call by you, Ace. I mean, you obviously saw something there that wasn't there, and I know you've been a big proponent of the Vikings all season, and a home game. It's their first home game of the season, so you know maybe that's a factor into it. So
I had to win somewhere, right? I was like, if they go 0-3, I'm gonna get off this Vikings bandwagon.
I was gonna say they are 1-2. I mean, it's not like, you know, they're not lighting the world on fire. They lost to the Bengals. So.
All right. I mean, they're in second place in their division at least, right?
It can't be the Lions. Can't be in third.
Like you said though, they milked the clock in the second half. Like the Seahawks barely had any time to try to get anything going, and they kind of increased their lead from there. So this was the big game. This was the game of the week, right? Andrew?
You know, a game that we all thought was going to be pretty close. It was 34-17 for a while. You know, the Bucs lost to them last season only by 3 without a team that wasn't led by Matthew Stafford. And now they come into Los Angeles, Brady's first time playing an NFL game in LA. End up losing this one by 10. Cooper Kupp, I don't know what he did, just him staying healthy or maybe just having a quality quarterback now. Cooper Kupp has been probably the best receiver in football through the first 3 weeks. He has 4 touchdowns, which is tied for the NFL lead. Every game he's had at least 9 receptions. He's gone over 100 yards in 2 of the 3. It's just been an absolute revelation. And then Deshaun Jackson was able to beat a very thin Buccaneers secondary for 3 deep balls, 1 for a touchdown. It was a very vintage Deshaun Jackson performance. A game that we'll see once in a while now for the remainder of his career. 3 catches for $112 and a touchdown. Obviously this isn't panic mode for the Bucs. This is a really good Los Angeles Rams team. They went into a tough environment. The Bucs have dealt with a couple injuries, and they were without Antonio Brown and Jason Pierre-Paul in their defensive line. That's kind of the reason why I was leaning more towards the Rams here. So I'm glad I got this one right. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one when we mentioned it on Sunday. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one again down the road. Obviously, Tom's going to want to get some sort of vengeance on a team that's beaten him twice now since he moved to Tampa Bay. But Rams look good, man. Matthew Stafford looks sharp. Hasn't thrown an interception yet this season. Who knows where they're going to go.
You mentioned Tom. This is his first loss ever after he's passed for 400 yards.
Wow.
He's never lost a game, which is crazy.
That's great. That is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good stat. But yeah, the Rams are looking good. Bucs, I'd imagine, this is one of the losses I had pegged for them. Again, this is one of those teams like I'll keep saying it throughout the year where you had to really look for losses, like the Bucs, Bills, and Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs came a lot earlier than I expected, but the Bucs, this is the one I did expect them to lose. So.
Same for Buffalo.
Yeah. Jay, what did you take away from this game?
I mean, honestly, this was pretty much a coin flip game. I mean, even Vegas had it like that. I'm going to bet on Tom Brady more than not. So I'll take the L there, betting on the GOAT, I suppose. I mean, they weren't necessarily efficient in the red zone. That led to some struggles. Obviously, want to win this game. But the Rams look like the real deal. Their defense looks solid. They do it on all 3 levels. They have secondary play that's great. Obviously, their front 7 is nasty. Aaron Donald, the big contributor to that. But yeah, without Antonio Brown, the Bucs can make that argument. But even Arians talked about it. They played a sloppy game. Their first 3 games, granted they've won 2 of them, have all been relatively sloppy. Even last week against Atlanta, let that team stay in it far longer than they should have. And then week 1 against Dallas was a toss up there until 3 minutes left. And not even, Tom just went Tom Brady mode and at the end of the game and won that one. So, again, I took a little bit of a contrarian stance here. I had some games to make up, and all that did was get me an L, and now I have even more games to make up. So look for a little more contrarian Jay coming up here.
I will make an annulment. I'm sorry. This is the first Tom Brady game where he's thrown for 400 yards and 0 interceptions and lost He was 5-0 in the regular season previously that he's done that. He also lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles, where he threw for 500 plus yards and 0 interceptions. So some crazy Tom stats, which you're right, Jay. Like, Tom Brady, if he was a first round quarterback, second round quarterback, Tom Brady would not have been this great. So it's great that, the 6th round pick, 199 taken overall, is still putting it together at the crisp age of 63. Even if he breaks all of the records stats wise, I still don't think, I know he's been the best, quarterback in terms of obvious Super Bowl success, but it's gonna be hard for me to still say Marino and Manning and some of these other guys up there are not just as great. It comes down to the franchise too, right? This is exactly it. And he has to think his lucky stars that Drew Bledsoe got hurt and, gave him an opportunity to start some games. I'll give you one more quick stat about this game. As well on the opposite side, just because I was in on Stafford last week when we talked about MVP candidates. Stafford was the 3rd quarterback ever to have 4 touchdowns and no interceptions against Brady. And the other 2 to do it was Drew Brees, who did this twice, and your guy, Alex Smith, who also did it against Tampa Brady.
We love Alex here in Kansas City.
Yeah. And then what's a scary thought too, and Andrew, you kind of mentioned the Rams are really good. They've only trailed for 2 minutes so far this season. So, I mean, they're playing really well. So scary team to think about. But the Chiefs have been down, they're going to make adjustments. So some of these teams are now oh crap, the Rams are for real. So, some teams they'll make adjustments to the Rams.
Yeah, the NFC West is loaded, so it's a bit of an inauspicious start too for the Seahawks, starting 1-2 to try and come back from that with the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals already above 500 for the season. So we can move on to our next game though. We'll see. I'm sure we'll see those guys again. This is one where we had across the board and we all took L's. If not for a Mason Crosby game-winning field goal, we all would have taken W's here and would have helped us out greatly. But the 49ers could not come away with a win here. Aaron Rodgers, normally I assumed his kryptonite was Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, and it had been, but he was able to right the ship here, even with Devontae Adams being, no call and the egregious hit that happened to him. He was able to stay. Thankfully, no serious injury occurred. He took a really bad shot from I can't remember the DB who hit him, but he was going up for a pass, took a really bad shot to the head, helmet-to-helmet contact. Thankfully, he's okay. He mentioned after the game that he's built different, and, I mean, you're damn right he is. 18 touchdowns last year and surviving near-death experience this year will definitely warrant you the win that you deserved and end up getting on Sunday night. So didn't help me, but, didn't help anybody, to be honest with you. So
Well, really, the kryptonite for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers is Kaepernick.
That is true. Yep. And especially in the playoffs, they ran all over them back in those Mike McCarthy days that you were talking about earlier, Ace, where he doesn't know how to do anything.
And we kind of covered this game, right? And every, in today's social media, you knew that there was people going to be like, take a picture of themselves and be like, they left too much time. And of course, Aaron Rodgers pays off all the peeps out there. I mean, they did what they had to do. They came back and they won the game because of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams being just mega brilliant talent-wise. And that's not my problem. I didn't mean to bash on Aaron Rodgers. I just think, like you said earlier in the show, Andrew, he's just not all there. He doesn't want to necessarily be there. More speed bumps are going to happen for football teams. So I could see that happening and kind of derailing the cheeseheads there. But we can move on to the next one, right? Because we kind of already covered this one a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one will be quick too, because it was a blowout. It was a 41-21 Cowboy win. Jalen Hurts did not play well at all. The Cowboys defense has now 8 takeaways on the season. They've been playing pretty lights out. Dak Prescott looks back to, and I'll say this is my one big thing about this game, and I'll leave it to you guys for some reaction. Tony Pollard is not better than Ezekiel Elliott. I will say that every week until everybody just understands that. Tony Pollard is not better than Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott had 2 touchdowns on the night. Probably should have had 3. Couldn't get on that goal line, and then eventually the goal line stand. But this game was an absolute rout from the beginning. The goal line stand was a little bump in the road before the Cowboys just ended up onslaughting the Eagles. The pick six really put the nail in the coffin by Trayvon Diggs, who looks like the resurgence of the reincarnation of Cam Chancellor just in a Cowboys uniform with how freaking big he is compared to these receivers. But
Alabama boy, right?
I believe Trayvon Diggs. Yeah,
I think he was
so
from
many
Alabama.
So many Alabama guys.
Everybody's from Alabama. Yeah. Okay, so I'll step in here. One of my homies at work loves the Eagles, thinks they're the best team in the world. Sorry, buddy. I knew they were going to have a bad season. It's all unraveling for you. I love Dak Prescott a lot. Glad he came back and, had a decent game. He could have played a little bit better. Losing the football in the end zone was, kind of on his offensive line. But, hey, Dak broke his leg for you pieces of crap last year. So you better block him like no other. And so do a little bit better about that, Dallas. Tony P slander, really, bro? Tony P in the comments. What do you think about Tony P? No, yeah, Zeke is better, but Zeke hasn't been playing like he's better, right? Tony Pollard took advantage of his opportunities and he played really good, and I gotta pat him on the back for that. He sits on one of my fantasy team. I have only one fantasy team, but he sits on my fantasy team's bench in case Zeke plays like the not the golden egg in this bunch, but he lays an egg every week, which he's done before and he's done last season, and he is great running back. So obviously it's kind of tough to compare there. But Dallas played really well. They could have improved. This game could have also been 57-21. It could have been 41-7. Like Jalen Hurts felt like he was exposed in this game, and my stock on Jalen Hurts is so. So I feel bad for the kid, but yeah, he didn't play well. 7 of those points were from his defense. So
yeah, Jalen Hurts struggled pretty mightily against a defense that most people haven't really struggled against so far, at least to start the year. Dallas's defense has been better than last year, but that's not saying a whole much considering how bad last year's one. Micah Parsons is the real deal. I'll say that. Kid's absolutely unbelievable. He can play inside, he can play outside, whatever they really ask of him, which is, I think, a big reason why they took him, because they are stacked at the linebacker position, but him being able to play that defensive end position is really nice. Andrew mentioned Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs looks like he's going to make a case here for one of the top 10 and possibly vie up for that top 5 cornerback position in the NFL right now. The throw by just to get on that real quick, because Jalen Hurts, there's some throws you just can't make. And that's one of those throws you just can't make. Just from a defensive perspective, Trayvon Diggs is playing him while he's in the slot. Devontae Smith, that is in the slot. Trayvon Diggs is giving him outside leverage. So Devontae Smith has to give Trayvon Diggs some type of indication that he's not going to do anything but go outside, because that's already what Trayvon Diggs is expecting you to do. So Trayvon Diggs literally only moves about a half a step, reads the quarterback's eyes, sees that Jalen Hurts is absolutely dead on staring Devontae Smith, and right when he makes that break, there's no way that Devontae Smith is making Trayvon Diggs think he's going any other way but out. So as a corner, as a defensive player, I'm reading that ball is just slightly behind. Devontae Smith trips a little bit, and people are all of a sudden saying that if Devontae Smith doesn't trip, it's not a pick. Trayvon Diggs is pick 6 in that all day. Devontae Smith could have stayed up, could have tried to bat the ball away. Trayvon Diggs absolutely had Devontae Smith's number all game, was in his ear all game. They're former Alabama teammates, and Andrew saw when you put Trayvon Diggs in press coverage on Devontae Smith, he's getting hands on and he's bullying this dude. And that's one of the things coming out about Devontae Smith, right? We knew his athleticism was there. We knew the speed was there. The ability, to run routes and all that was there. The question was, is he going to be able to get off jams? And if he's not, right, how are the Eagles going to mitigate that, whether that be putting him in the slot a lot or putting him off the ball a lot to where it makes it harder for teams to jam him? And that's not what we really saw yesterday. The Eagles are kind of in a tough spot. You're evaluating Jalen Hurts here, and there were a lot of very bad decisions. The first interception that he threw on the go route was absolutely abysmal. The Cowboys did everything to help them stay in there too. Like you mentioned with the fumble for a touchdown, all of a sudden it was a ball game there for a second. The Eagles decided that Miles Sanders averaging 12.5 yards a touch was just not a priority to get the football anymore after the second quarter. So attaboy Sirianni, good for you, I guess. Pretty stupid in my opinion. But Yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to be pretty damn good. I think the Eagles are going to be pretty damn bad, and we saw that. I think the Cowboys are going to struggle when they play out-of-division opponents. Good Lord. This division, we talked about it, and we thought that they were going to be good coming into the season. The Washington does not. Their defense was supposed to be vaunting. Doesn't look that way. The Eagles, I had winning 4 games anyway. That's about what they look right now. And the Giants, oh boy, they stink. The Giants could very well go 0-10 to start the season if you look at the rest of their schedule, by the way.
Ooh. I mean, they're 0-3, and it doesn't look great. Daniel Jones he runs better than he throws this ball sometimes. I feel bad for teams when they do bad, but we put a 40 burger on that Washington football defense too, and it was supposed to be great. And Chase Young was okay. He didn't play super well. But yeah, I mean that's the NFC least. We could cue the luau music. So we've all been dead. We've all died. I was the first week. Jay was week 2. And Andrew was week 3. And Jay was like, "You're spicy." And Andrew, you did call us out a little bit, saying you were a little bit spicier than us. But yeah, I mean, the Seahawks didn't play well. We talked about that. Jay, you're the Cardinals. I mean, they're 3-0. I mean, they had a pretty decent game.
They're scaring the crap out of me at halftime. Went down 14-7 because of that stupid field goal.
Good Lord. I mean the Jags, yeah, the Jags had that, and then that was the peak of the game. And
buddy, the way the first 2 weeks went, and the way week 3 was going,
you were nervous, yeah.
Oh, dude, I was fully expecting somehow, some way, the Cardinals to chuck this up.
They played down to their opponent, right? Like for sure, they gave the Jags too much space there.
I mean, Tyler only had 1 rushing touchdown, which is another anomaly. So. Yeah, he played fine, but not the super ridiculous Kyler Murray we saw in the first 2 weeks. And he's not going to play like that every week. But that was a close. I thought the Seahawks pick was good for what it was worth. I mean, Asa obviously didn't. He had the Vikings, but yeah.
I mean, and then, my pick, the Denver Broncos. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater has been very competent, and that's good. He has like the highest pass rating in the league this year so far. So I mean, go figure. Ball out. I think 0 interceptions still. So you gotta love that from Bridgewater, who has had hasn't had necessarily like the best career so far. But the Jets are lowly offense, right? And 0 points, 26-0. It's kind of sad to see Robert Saleh's team come out there and not really look like they're trying and they're doing it, but like Zach Wilson is just, he might as well just be the that tool that uses to throw football so you can catch it like while you're practicing by yourself, because he's just letting anybody catch him. And the Jets have are potentially another 1-15, 1-16 team too, Jay. So.
Zach Wilson has thrown 6 interceptions over his last 2 games.
It's rough.
So # not good. But oh boy, did we lose Ace there for a second?
It looks like it a little bit.
We were supposed to get into our Thursday night picks there.
There he is. He's back. Anyway.
Sorry. I'm just keeping it spicy over here. I like to throw fire into. I like to throw the lighter fluid into the campfire, and I like to see it go up in flames.
Yeah, Thursday's gonna be a real barn burner. Huh?
Thursday night. Yeah.
Here, I'll pull that up again. We got you. I got you. For the second time today. I mean, we're all thinking Cincinnati's gonna win this. I think it might be a little closer than that, just based off of what we saw week 3. Jaguars keeping a game kind of close. The Bengals obviously are playing a little bit better than we thought they were. I mean, the Steelers look like crap, and the Bengals took advantage of that last week. I think Tyler Boyd said that it looked like to him that the Steelers just gave up. Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries, a bit, but that Steelers team is has multiple wide receivers, even when one of your top guys is out, and their defense was torn apart in the offseason, right? They lost a couple of key key players there, and we're seeing some of those holes. And things take place. The Bengals have been running the ball a little bit more this season, which is great. Take some of that off of Joey Burrow. I know, they probably should have taken Penei Sewell or anybody else in the first round besides Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase had a real nice game in this one too, right? So it's good to see Jamar doing well. I don't know if it's sustainable for the whole season, but that's why I picked the Bengals. I mean, it seemed like an easy choice to me. They're at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacksonville has been, obviously not great, which was expected. I expected them to win week 1, but I mean, going against the Cardinals last week with an offensive line that they have, that defensive line is really strong. That was going to be hard for them to be, very productive offensively. So that touchdown by Agnew really helped them get points on the board. Otherwise, it was they probably don't hit double digits. But Bengals have been, looking decent offensively. Jamar Chase is the highest graded offensive rookie per PFF so far through 3 games. So that seems to be paying off, especially because Burrow's, Burrow made a little sly comment in his post-game interview. He's like, "Oh, I thought he couldn't catch the ball," because he had a lot of a few drops in the preseason. So that seems to be, a thing of the past. But they've got a nice little 3 wide receiver trio there with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. This is just going to be, I mean, last week's Thursday night game was kind of boring. Unfortunately, we get another boring one, I think. But let's see. Maybe Trevor Lawrence makes it a little interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Joe Burrow and his little comment about Jamar Chase, were we making up the fact that he was dropping footballs? I mean, we didn't make it up. He was dropping footballs. If you want to see, you can go back and watch the tape, Joe. And he was you threw them, right? They got to his hands and he dropped them, right? That's not a made up stat. That's not some type of fake thing. Like, that's literally exactly what happened. And what I will say is Joe Burrow has been sacked the 3rd most in the NFL already to date. The Steelers only had 1 last week, but that was with, obviously a compromised defensive line. He's been sacked 10 times already. So, I mean, again, coming off of surgery, like, probably don't want your franchise quarterback getting sacked over 3 times a game. I'm glad that they got another receiving weapon for him. T. Higgins didn't play this week. So I naturally went on to Tyler Boyd. But yeah, I mean, the Bengals are fine. They played the Bears. I didn't think the Bears were going to be in shambles by the time they played them. So I thought they were going to be competent and win that ball game when I projected the season series. And again, Pittsburgh too, didn't expect them to be. I didn't expect Ben Roethlisberger to be as mobile as a damn fire hydrant. This dude fell over grass. Like, when our next show, I'm gonna show some of the tape of Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, literally, he can't walk. He fell walking. Najee Harris had 19 targets because he can't throw the ball more than 5 yards. It's unbelievable. Anyway, we'll keep
moving. Yeah, you're not wrong. Would you pick this game? The Jaguars are 7.5 underdogs. Would you take the Jaguars even with the 7.5 points
to cover? Maybe, yeah. I could see
7.5 a lot. And I don't think the Bengals are. I mean, they're better than the Jags, but are they touchdown favorites? Like more than a touchdown over the Jags? I mean, they blew out the Steelers this week, fine, but they. I don't know.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has not looked great, man. I 7 interceptions, like 4 fumbles or something like that already. I can't remember how many fumbles he had, but he had a few. He had a couple at least this week. I mean, they're not necessarily giving James Robinson many attempts. He's getting like 10 a game or something like that. And I don't know. I just don't see the balance in this offense. I would take the Bengals to cover that. I think the Bengals can cover that.
Yeah, there's no balance because they're losing by 3 touchdowns by halftime.
Yeah, they can't be. They can't be balanced. The offensive line is also terrible too, and they took Travis Etienne in the first round instead of another better offensive lineman, and he unfortunately got hurt, so it doesn't help him out there. But there's a Week 4 Thursday Night Football preview. Hopefully, obviously Jay and I can't make up any ground here because you picked the Bengals too, and it's a pretty easy game to have picked. That was our, it's not the sweetest of finishes because it's a dessert plate of Jacksonville and Cincinnati Bengals, so not the sweetest of NFL games, but that was dessert. Any last words, guys, before we
do we want to let the DFS guru, self-acclaimed guru, have a second here?
By that ace, I didn't want him. I'm totally kidding. Go for it.
So this week's DFS and review, we put about $115 in this week, made out with 135. So positive week. Cash game, absolutely smashed. Clyde Edwards-Helaire at $4,800 became an afterthought for a lot of people after Alexander Mattison ended up being the main guy with Dalvin Cook out. I chose the Clyde Edwards-Helaire savings at $4,800. I just thought he was too cheap in a good game environment. He pretty much was tit for tat with Madison. Saquon Barkley was another guy I was really high on in cash. That worked out pretty well. Lamar, he didn't have a great game, but he always gets there with his feet, 50-something yards rushing, so we'll take that all day. Had a Cooper Kupp and Godwin stack that worked really well. Also played Higbee. They all 3 scored touchdowns. Cash lineup scored like 171 points, so really happy with the cash lineups. We'll say tournaments did not go as well. Top tournament lineup only scored 169. My best lineup was my Josh Allen stack. I had a lot of Josh Allen, felt really good about it. Obviously, he went off for 5 touchdowns. So really liked the process this week. Didn't end up with great results. The 4 duds that I'll mention. Hey, thanks, Dad. Look at Dad coming into the chat.
Hey.
Thanks, Dad. Godson, too, down here for Mr. Ace. Yeah, so and then what I will say is about our tournaments, right? So my tournaments, Josh Allen, Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs didn't get there, but I had a lot of Josh Allen and Emmanuel Sanders in the correlation with Stephon Diggs. I do it all day. Anytime I'm going to run a Josh Allen stack, there's maybe only 1 or 2 lineups out of like 5 that I'm going to not have Stephon Diggs in there. Normally when Josh gets there, he gets there. I had 4 flag plants, right? I gave you guys 2 of them, and the other 2 saved for myself. So the 2 that I didn't tell you that I was really high on were Marquise Brown and DeAndre Swift. Little game. I love the mini stack games in tournaments. I do a main stack and a bring back, and then I mini stack a game, and then I either mini stack another game or I go with 2 independents that I really like. This week, I was really high on mini stacking Jonathan Taylor and A.J. Brown and Marquise Brown and DeAndre Swift. And I told you guys about the JT and the A.J. Brown. That did not go well, right? Jonathan Taylor had a great yards per target, yards per carry average. He was absolutely unbelievable. Unfortunately, Frank Wright decided to not give him the football. AJ Brown has 1 rush in the first quarter and is out for the entire game. Not what you want to see. DeAndre Swift hit. DeAndre Swift played really well. There's only 4 running backs in fantasy right now in PPR that are ahead of that are ahead of DeAndre Swift, and that's like Christian McCaffrey and like not Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, a few other guys. So not very many people. DeAndre Swift has been a great find in fantasy wise. And then I just want to show you the comedicness that happened with Marquise Brown and how he decided to take Johnny's cash money and just light it into absolute flames. Every time you see one of these clips, right, and you see the football, just pretend this is Johnny's money, okay? Here we go. Lamar Jackson had one of his best throwing days of the year. Oh, just dropping Johnny's money. Just right down the toilet. Just doesn't want to score fantasy points for Johnny's team? No. Why do we want to do that? No. We're going to let it slide between our hands. Okay, one time. Okay, it happens one time. Fine. It's not going to happen twice, right? Not going to happen twice. Oh, he's wide open. Oh, it goes right through his hands. Oh, more money. Down the drain. Just right down the tubes. Yeah, he was in 60% of my tournament lineup. Right down to crapper. 2 times. No way it happens 3, right? I do you better. 3 times. I mean, look at this. I mean, it could right in the beak. I mean, guys, walking in. Absolute. Could have been in a wheelchair and walked in. He turned a 30-point fantasy day to a 7-point fantasy day just to piss me off. Just to absolutely just rail Johnny. I mean, unbelievable. Got him in DFS. In the first down, I got him at 7%, was feeling absolutely fantastic in a great game environment, and absolutely wets the bed. Good Lord. I'll probably play him again next week.
Got him.
They're going to lower the price. So why not take a look at him,
Hey, John, I'll tell you what. Jonathan Taylor, his price is already lowered. You already know I'm going right back to him in tournaments. Jonathan Taylor's a guy I'm going to bet on talent there, and especially now with Marlon Mack out of the fray. Naeem Hines gets the 3rd down and 2-minute work, but we'll go through some DFS here later because I love DFS, even though I can't seem to win a damn tournament.
Yeah, real quick, I just played a couple head-to-heads this last week, and it was crap as well. I lost every one of them. I had Daniel Jones put up 16.5. Didn't he was super cheap too.
That's not going to kill you. Yeah. What else did you have in cash? Because that won't kill you.
Okay. So I had Darius Slayton team up with him because I figured maybe Slayton could break open for one pass. But he got injured. Played.
So did Sterling Shepard.
He got
Got you, Dad.
TJ Hawkinson was my tight end. I paid up. Paid up for him. Two catches for like 10 yards. Jared Cook was my tight end because I figure Matt Stafford's gonna not Matt Stafford. I'm sorry.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert would. He was maybe good for one there. No, didn't really work out there. I paid up for my 2 wide receivers. I took Tyreek Hill and Keenan Allen. They did okay. Tyreek Hill had a fumble, didn't have a touchdown, had some rushing yards. Keenan Allen did okay. 19 points. I had DeAndre Swift. I also had Jonathan Taylor. And then to round it all out, I had the Cardinals defense, which had 18 points. So, I mean, I hit there. I had 105 points, though. So that's not going to win you anything. So, whatever.
There were a few you could have moved around there. But, yeah, DFS is a fickle bitch, man.
I was working that. Just before I went off to work, I built a lineup real quick, and I should have thought about it a little bit better. But
we're gonna hit a tournament here, Pop. Watch, trust the process.
Daily fantasy sorrows. We got to share them as well as our wins.
Absolutely.
Hey, positive day though. We'll take it, bro. Plus 20-something bucks. I'll take it all day. I mean, at this point, with my last few years, we're rounding into form. Just like the picks. You know what I'm saying? Give me a couple weeks to calibrate.
Yeah, I lost $5. I'm not tripping either.
I haven't played since week 1, and in week 1 I made $27, so I'm gonna go out on the high note for the year.
I don't know how you're not playing after that.
Oh man, maybe I'm gonna do this. I'm going to go ahead and do one of these. I'm gonna support our show and make sure I stay in tune with what's going on fantasy wise, because we are sponsoring Fantasy Pros, or Fantasy Pros sponsoring us, whichever one. And I'm gonna follow our Twitter and Instagram and AJA Sports Show. Make sure we get all the information that we need to have for Sundays to ensure that I can bet for daily fantasy sports, and in turn those DFS days from daily fantasy sorrow to the daily fantasy wins.
Tune in Sunday mornings. We go, I give the rundown on to some cash plays, what I like in tournaments, give a little bit there. I want to do a little bit more of a segment of it, probably in our second show this week, and just talk about a few of the tournament guys that are looking good. So join on in. You'll enjoy our fantasy triumphs and our downfalls when they come.
And I'm here just for fun. I'm usually good for one really good moment of the day, and like you just skip over the next one. I should have listened to this guy over here about his fantasy takes. I didn't, and I just lost money. $5. That's okay.
Hey, that's okay. Everybody, even the pros lose.
But this generous son of a bitch above me over here to the left or the right, however you look at, he's putting his $27 back into the business, and I'm over here just spending my $5. So it is what it is.
Putting the money in the DFS is putting it into the business. We do this for a living. It's okay, guys. But
sure.
Anyway, it's late. Everyone, make sure you've had some good food to eat. We'll see y'all next time. Until then, it's been the AJA Sports Show. Peace out, guys.
Andrew, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, hello, Lord.
If you want to talk, you can talk. I'll talk a little